When we found out that we were going to be talking to you, we wanted to hear from some youngsters because it's not often that we have a direct line to an astronaut. This question from a little one, maybe from a school that you know a little something about. These are fourth graders from Sonny Williams Elementary School in Needham. Take a listen. So their question there, they want to know what it's like to exercise in space and what happens if you don't.
Aha, these are kids after my own heart. Go Wildcats, by the way. So if you don't exercise while you're up here, you're going to lose any muscle that you have because, you don't have to lift up anything. You don't have to lift yourself up. You don't have to, run or walk, which creates the muscles in your legs. Nothing weighs anything. So your muscles will start to go away. And then the muscle that's included in that is your heart will start to get a little bit smaller too because it doesn't have to work as hard to pump that blood from the bottom of your feet all the way back up to your heart. So we need to exercise. We need to do aerobic exercise, either running or on the bicycle. And then the other thing, the big thing that happens with lack of exercise, or why we do exercise, is your bone density starts to go away. So, we're formed on Earth because there's gravity, and that's why we look like we look. That's why we're formed like we are. That's why our bodies grew like they are. And so here on Earth, here in space, your bones go, hey, I don't need to be so strong anymore, and so your body starts to leach the calcium out of your bones, and so that's why we do lifting exercises to make sure the bones, particularly in your legs and your hips and your ankles, stay normal. So when we come back to Earth, we can walk without any problems.
And I know that you've participated in multiple races, and I believe first person to ever run a marathon in space. I don't even like driving 26 miles. What's it like to run a marathon in space?
Well, that was, I would say, as we say, in flight training, that was a blow in head work. I don't think it was the smartest thing I've ever done in my life, but I'm stubborn, and once I got strapped on that treadmill and started going, I thought, oh gosh, now I really have to go. And I guilted my sister into running the Boston Marathon for real at that time, and that was a windy, rainy, cold, crappy day in Boston, and she was doing it, so I had to do it, and it was good. The whole reason I did it was actually just to emphasize that we have to work out up here, and working out is a great way of life. Every day do something. Kids get outside, go play. I think that was really, my motivation for doing it up here and having it advertised.
Hi, my name is Frankie, and I go to Woodland Elementary School. What is it like being one of the first Indian Americans to go up into space?
So she wants to know what it's like being one of the first Indian Americans in space.
Well, thank you, Francesca. I don't really think about it that way. I pursued a job which was flying and being a test pilot that other people were doing, and just wanted to do my best job. I was deployed on ships in the Navy, and I had lots of colleagues who were doing the same thing. Now, it is true at the time there was maybe only 2 of us women on a boat of 500 guys, 500 men, but I just tried not to think about that and just try to do my job and just do it and just be okay with it and have everybody accept me just as a professional. So I feel the same way about my career here. I've got a bunch of brothers and a sister on board here, and we're all just doing our jobs. We're working together. We're like a family. So I don't think twice about it. And my biggest advice for little girls out there is just don't have limits. Don't tell yourself no. Don't let anybody else tell you no. And just go for it in whatever field, whatever thing that you like to do, whatever you like to study, just do it, and don't let anyone tell you no.
And we have one final question from a friend, Sean. Take a listen.
I'm Sean from Middleborough, and I have a question for you. Can you see any planets from the space station?
Absolutely, Sean. We're not that much closer to those planets. If you really look at the distance of where the moon is, where Earth is in comparison to where the moon is and where the planets are, we are just skimming above the Earth's surface. We're only about 250 miles above the Earth, so not that far. And that that leads me to two things. One, the atmosphere is pretty thin. That protects us from all this radiation, as well as the hot and cold of space, right? So that's this teeny little atmosphere is protecting us. But we do see planets from here, and they're crystal clear. Because we don't have that atmosphere, we don't have to see through water vapor. We can actually see those stars as bright, bright stars, and those planets as bright, bright planets. One of our Russian colleagues took a great picture of Jupiter the other day. Granted, he had a big, huge lens on his camera, but we could see, the spot on Jupiter, for example. We could see, I can tell when I can see Mars in the sky because it's a little pinkish, but it's a crystal clear star. So that's what benefit we have seeing planets from up here.
I can imagine the view is pretty epic. Now, when I do stories, I sometimes hear the phrase, space is hard. Now, Sunny, in your own words, why is space hard? And if it is hard, why is it so important that we continue doing this exploration?
I think the main reason I would say, this is Sunny Williams' opinion, is because it makes us think outside the box. That's the answer for both of those questions. That's why it's hard. It's not intuitive to think about how to build an aquarium in space. That would work. It's not intuitive to think about how you would water plants if you wanted to make your own food up here. These are these questions, these things that we have to think outside the box and create new things to be able to be successful. Rockets are a whole nother story. Building rockets and launching rockets, a lot of, as I call it, small miracles, because rockets are filled with, thousands, if not millions, of different little pieces and parts, and all those things have to work together at the right time to launch a rocket into space. And then when you get up here and live up here, that goes into the second, that what I mentioned in the first part of the answer here. You've got to think outside the box to be able to have people to live up here. A real simple example is the bathroom, right? The bathroom, you don't have a gravity assist. You have to have some other force function to pull, the number one and number two away from yourself. So all of these types of things are just, from the funniest thing to the most serious thing, everything has to be thought a little bit differently than on Earth. And that's sort of why it's hard.